Hello everyone, how are you? I am back with my next tutorial which is on thematic analysis. Thematic analysis is one of the most common ways how we analyze the qualitative data. The qualitative data, as we studied in the tools, after you're done with the sampling, you have selected the tool and then you go and you collect the data. Once you collect the data, you need to analyze the data to find the results, to find the findings and to discuss the findings as well. We are going to talk about what is thematic analysis, and we are going to see that what are the different approaches to analyze qualitative data. So it is one of, as I said, is one of the most common approaches to qualitative data, and here we go, and then we find different themes from our data. Now, in this analysis, we go and we study the data. We find what are the similarities. We code the data. We sometimes do coding in different stages, like we have an initial coding, then we have a second coding, and then we finally categorize them and we make them in a proper theme. There are different approaches as well that we do to search for these themes, such as grounded theory, critical discourse analysis, qualitative content analysis, and narrative analysis. I have provided different handouts for content analysis, narrative analysis, and discourse analysis. You may go through them. And as I said, if you have any questions, you may comment below the video and I'll answer. Just to give you a review, in content analysis, we count the number of occasions that that the person have used a certain vocabulary to highlight that this is the thing that they focus on. In narrative analysis, we read in between the lines, we understand what they are trying to say, and then we interpretate it. And from these things that we find out from whichever analysis that we are using, we will construct our themes. Now, the theme that we are talking about, what is basically a theme? A theme is basically a category that we analyze from our data, the data that we collected, the interviews that we got. We obviously, when we conduct an interview, we transcribe the interviews. After we have transcribed the interviews, transcription means that you write the interviews, each and every word of what they said. We read the transcript, we understand the transcript, and we find the common things. The common things as coding, what are they emphasizing on, what are they trying to say, what answers are they giving. Then from that theoretical understanding of the data, we make out the themes which become our main factors that are the result of our research problem. And then obviously we relate it to the literature as well to make our data more reliable and valid. Again, as I just said, that if you want to go and you want to analyze the data through them and you want to collect the themes, so first thing that you need to do is that you need to manage your data. You need to write the data very carefully. You need to transcribe the data into a more manageable form. That means you need to find meanings in between what they have written. We code the data and then we link it to our research question, and we see that what exactly are they trying to say and how are they trying to answer our main research question. Now, this is a kind of overview that we make up. For example, we usually do it on an Excel sheet. On one column, we have the interview one, interviewee two, interviewee three, and then in the columns, we have the main themes that we have developed. Initially, you have a lot of columns because everything that you believe is making a major category, you're going to put it over there, and you're going to quote exactly what they said. If you see in ethnicity critique, they in inverted commas they have written what they meant, and in the bracket they have written like question 14. Like interviewee 4, when you asked him the question 14, this is the answer that he gave, which is in relation with the theme. And then this is how you're going to make all of your columns. And then if a column, if for example interview 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all of them say gender critique, so all of the gender critique column will be filled. That means this is a major theme that everyone is emphasizing on. But sometimes one interviewee can tell you one theme, but maybe others did not say the same theme. That does not mean that that theme is not important or that is an outlier. That means that maybe others they could not identify, or maybe this person identified it not correctly. So you need to go and you need to figure out, you need to go and see whether what that exactly means. As I said, we don't take interview in one occasions, we take interview in multiple occasions. So you may always go back to your sample and ask them what exactly did they meant. Once we are done with the coding, we go and we go back to our sampling, and then we go and take informed consent from them, and we ask them whether they agree to these themes or not, what exactly do they mean, and whether we have understood the data correctly or not. How do we come to this Excel sheet? This is again taken from a book. For example, the interviewer was you asked a question and then they answered, then you asked a question and then they answered, and from there you took out that what exactly that they meant, what was the key thing that they said. So the key things becomes your first code, and then you see that how these codes can be joined together to form a theme. You understand what is the central idea, what exactly are they trying to say, what is the main concept, that what is the main perception that they are trying to tell you. That becomes all of your codes. The codes are then made into categories, and these categories are your major themes. Just to make it a little easier for you, I always give an example of different balls. For example, you have a box, and the box is filled with different colors and different sizes balls. So when you are supposed to sort it out, you don't know how to do it. So what you do is that you do an initial coding, that you divide them as per colors. So red balls go in one box, yellow in another, blue in another, green in another. Once you put it in the box, you realize that there are small box and there are big balls as well. And then you start sorting it out in that way as well. There's small green balls, big green balls, small red balls, big red balls, and then you see which one are the most and which one are the least. Or I mean, which colored balls people actually emphasized on more, whether the which one has more importance. So we need to sort out the data in the same way. Again, when we are writing it in our methodology chapter, we need to write it's in thick description. That means we need to write each and everything. Like this student has written the example that I took from a book, and here they have written that I read through the transcripts line by line, noting down themes as I saw them appear in the data. For example, if a mother openly spoke about the negative impact of fast food chains on childhood health, I would note this down as causes fast food. So now she knows that causes is the main factor or the main theme, and then the fast food is over there. That this is making a negative impact. Then at the bottom of each page, they would kind out the main themes as well. Okay? The smaller themes will make up into the major themes. Now, there is a step-by-step guide by Brown and Clark. For again, as I said, the first thing that you do is that you get familiarized with the data. The transcriptions that you get, you transcribe them, you write them properly, and then you start reading them. You start searching for meanings and patterns, and you see which thing can be linked to another. Just like the interview that we saw over there, we were finding out the central idea, the central codes. Once we get the central codes, then we need this then comes our second phase, which is the generating of the initial codes. We read it, we understand what they were trying to say, and then we find out the general things that they are talking about. Once we find out the general codes, we search that whether these codes can be combined together to form a theme, whether they are focusing on a much broader things rather than very narrowed things. So we search for themes and we see whether they can be joined together to form a theme. Once we have done that, we review whether the theme that we have developed is correct or not, whether it is something that the sample have said it or not, whether the sample, whether we have enough data to support them. Again, in the Excel sheet, the dialogues that we were having, that which our sample have said, we are going to see that whether we have enough dialogues from the people supporting the main theme that we are saying. Then we, as I said, we can go and we can always go back to them and we can ask them whether the themes are correct or not, or whether they agree to it or not. And once it is there, we define them and we give them a proper name which justifies all of the codes that are coming in them. And after that, we produce our report. In our findings, we can make a table, or we can extract the table from the Excel sheet and we can place them in our findings chapter. And then after that, we write our discussion chapter. In the discussion chapter, we give the headings of each and every theme one by one. And then under every theme, we discuss what the sample actually said. In the discussion chapter, we write the first theme. In 2-3 lines, we explain what the theme is. We explain what the literature says about that theme, and then we even quote the people who have what they said about that particular theme, and then we explain what the people actually meant. So we are explaining what the theme is, we are explaining how literature supports it, and we are explaining how the people support it. Okay, this is how you basically make a thematic analysis in qualitative research. Now, again, if you have any questions in relation to how do you write your findings chapter or how do you write your discussion chapter, again, as I said, you can always comment below the video and I'll be happy to answer. I hope these tutorials are helpful for you, and you can let me, and you can always let me know. ठीक है? Thank you.